is Harry Fuller, and I'm glad you came tonight. I understand that there's a kestrel that's not directly related to our newsletter who came to the meeting tonight and will be wanting to meet you all later. And the kestrel is quite appropriate since that is our mascot and the name of our newsletter. A couple of quick announcements for those of you who are following the science project, the Motus Tower out at Ankeny. I've posted a couple of updates recently on my blog. There's a robin that has been tagged. He was tagged in October in Vancouver. But
Jerry, you have to take that mask off.
okay, I'll take the mask off. Now you'll be able to hear me. I got a big voice. All right. The robin that has been picked up in January and February out at Ankeny was first tagged in October near Vancouver, British Columbia. We're now in touch with the scientists at the project up there that are tagging the robins. They're trying to figure out what effect the urbanization of that part of British Columbia has had on robins and how they're doing. So I hope to be able to get some feedback in the next few days on how many other robins have come south of the border. What's the most distant robin that they tagged last fall? Our guy is about 375 miles south of where he was tagged originally. Seems to be doing pretty well. Has moved out of reach of the Motus Tower in the last 2 or 3 days. Hasn't been picked up since 10th, but that probably just means he's on the other side of a hill or hiding in an evergreen or something. But there's lots and lots, thousands, I would estimate, robins at Ankeny right now. And he's in one of those mobs out there in the wet fields eating all the earthworms he can find. We're having a grand opening for the Motus Tower on International Migratory Bird Day in May out at Ankeny. So put it on your calendar if you're interested in coming out. We'll have all kinds of events going on. Completely separate from that, there's a field trip for great gray owls that I've organized for this spring. I've got about 6 openings left. There's a 1 sheet back there if you're interested. People keep saying, how much does it cost? It costs whatever it's going to cost you to stay overnight. We're going to be in Ashland for probably 3 nights, and you're going to have room and board. You're on your own for that, but we will meet every morning at dawn, go out, go birding. And for those who care, maybe we'll do at least a half day at Klamath, depending on how much luck we have finding a great gray owl. But I got about a half dozen slots left. So if you're interested, sign up now because I think it's going to fill up pretty quick. And last but not least, not directly connected to Salem Audubon, there's a 1 sheet back there. I've got 2 trips to Malheur this year, one in May and one in September. If you're interested, pick up the 1 sheet, let me know. Those do cost money, but most of the money goes as a donation for the field station to keep it operating as a nonprofit. And those are my announcements, but I'll bet you Tim's got a couple of things to say.
Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for their kind comments about the Sunday article. If you ever want your picture in the paper, just ask Judy to make say a good word to you for you, and the reporters will be knocking on your door. I'd also like to thank Paul and Roxy Evans for their support of Birders Night through a grant, a very generous grant from the Evans Education Foundation. We have a few upcoming community events I wanted to let you know about. They're not on the calendar yet, so I just wanted to let you know, and then we'll get those on the calendar pretty soon. One is the Yard and Garden Show. We're going to be at that for the 3 days, March the 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Weekend of the 24th.
Oh, weekend of the 24th.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, that's good. That's good to know because I'm in town. Yeah. Are you sure?
Well, yeah, that's what I had in my head.
All right, but I don't think so, Mike. Well, that's yet to be determined.
Well,
We'll have an article in the March Kestrel about those dates, and you guys have all been very good about volunteering to cover slots during that 3 days. We have probably 500 or 600 people that come to the booth, and it's just a great way to introduce people to what we do. And we've got nest boxes and a lot of things that people take home. So we also in April, on April 22nd, we're going to co-host Earth Day at Kaiser Rapids Park. So that's Saturday. I think that's going to be a registration only event. They're going to have a taco truck there. And then they'll have some exhibits, and Salem Audubon will be leading some walks, some bird walks. So hope you can take advantage of that and sign up for that. I think it's going to be free, but they just need to control how many people are coming because of the taco cart. And then in May, we'll be at the Oregon Master Gardeners event at the fairgrounds on May the 5th and 6th. And then late breaking news. Oh, this is great because I'm in town. I thought I'm going to Roatan. You ever heard of that? It's
Yes.
an island off of Honduras. And I'll be back on the 20th. So March 20th, 25th, 24th, 25th, and 26th at the fairgrounds.
And the setup day would be the 23rd, I think.
So the setup will be on that Thursday. And so we could use some help on setup, and then we could use the help on the event itself. And I think usually we have 2-hour slots.
That's my goal.
So talk to Michael here, please, or you can email me, tim@salemonaudubon.org, and I'll forward that to Michael. And now to introduce tonight's speaker, John Matthews.
Thanks, Tim. Well, tonight is a great experiment, a whole new idea on Zoom here that we're going to feature some live performances here of a feathered friend in the box here will be coming out pretty soon. But we're really honored tonight to have Kathleen Dodge, who's the Raptor Education Director of Chintimini Wildlife Center. And she and Alyssa Nelson will be here along with Penny, that you will meet very soon. But I think Kathleen's going to tell us a little bit about Chintimini and all the great work that it does, both in rehab and in public education. So I'll give this to you, and we'll see if we can follow this through this apparatus here.
Right up your mouth.
Okay. Oh, hello. I'm used to the little thing, so I'm like, oh, what's happening? Yeah. So my name is Kathleen. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We're really excited to introduce you to one of our education animals that lives at Chintimini. And I wanted to share a little bit about Chintimini with everybody before we get started and bring the bird out. So you can see we have this website with all this information on it. So our mission is to protect and celebrate Oregon's native wildlife. Chintimini was established in 1989, and it was started in a very small, it was started in a house, and it's expanded to be over 9.5 acres of land. So we're able to rehabilitate animals from small little birds like the one we brought today, songbirds. I think about 70% of what we do are birds last time I checked. So most of the animals we rehabilitate to release to the wild are birds. And we also rehab mammals like raccoons, squirrels. We do get a lot of squirrels, a lot of babies during the baby season, skunks, foxes. The biggest animal that I've ever seen us have in rehab was a bobcat that we had. So yeah, and they can get pretty big, but so it's a pretty big variety. Also reptiles, we can't forget the reptiles. So we will occasionally get lizards, snakes. We've had a frog or two come in, so we can do amphibians. So we have, what's the word? We have permission from ODFW in order to rehab all those groups of animals. You have to take a test, it's this whole thing. So our staff is pretty diverse in their knowledge, which is really great because we do get a lot of calls every day. And let's see, so yeah, so our website does say that our clinic treats more than 2,000 animals each year. It actually is closer to 2,500 every year. And in comparison, I think that Portland Audubon's about 3,000 or 3,500. So in the Willamette Valley, we are located pretty centrally. So we do get animals from Eugene and Salem. So, and then of course Corvallis. So it's like a pretty broad range of an area that we service. And we are a nonprofit. We don't receive any government funding or any state funding. So we are supported by communities, and also grant funding is really important for us as well. We have a really amazing executive director that gets us a lot of grant funding. And we are hiring actually for a position. We're looking for a development director right now. So if you know anyone who is good at writing grants and good at fundraising, they can actually apply through our website. There's a section that you can apply. So that'd be great. We need you if you're out there. Yeah, so we are very busy. I think right now we have about 8 staff. Yeah, I think that's right. So not a whole lot compared to the amount of work we do. So we need a lot of volunteers. So we really rely a lot on volunteers. We have anywhere from 100 to 120 volunteers every single year helping. So you do have to be 18, which, you know, everyone here probably is 18, although I don't know, some of you. And also, you don't need any, you also don't need any kind of prior knowledge in order to volunteer with us. So you don't have to really know how to do rehab at all to volunteer with us. You learn as you go. We train people. So that's something really nice. When I started, I actually didn't know much about birds. And so I learned a lot once I started volunteering. And then I moved to the education department because I like to talk a lot. I like to talk too much, probably, for being in the hospital. I was told to be quiet quite a bit because when you're doing rehab, you have animals that get really stressed out by humans being loud, and I'm kind of loud. So I moved departments, and that suited me better. And now I'm the education director, so I guess it worked out. I feel like I should be telling jokes with this mic like this. So yeah, so there are a couple of different arms to Chintimini. There's the rehab and then the education. So today we're going to talk a bit about the education and show you an example of an animal that we have in education. So sometimes the animals, when they come in, they're so injured, or maybe they have some behavioral issues like this one, or they can't be released out to the wild. The bird that we have here today was taken from the wild when she was a baby. Normally, we would, of course, like to see the animal right away because our staff is trained in how to handle baby animals without imprinting them onto humans. Unfortunately, she came from out of state. I don't really know the full story, but someone did hand raise and feed her. So she never learned how to hunt, which of course, being a bird of prey, it's kind of in the name. You need to know how to be a predator. So she never learned how to do that. And she had been with the person for about 3 years before she was transferred to us. And she was even with the falconer for a few months to see if she could be basically kind of rewilded, to see if she could get out there in the field and hunt things. But she just went right back to the person and landed on my head and was like, no, I'm not doing that. So that's why we have her. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have Alyssa, our wonderful volunteer, actually get her out, and we can walk around with her a bit and show her to everyone here and also everyone watching from home. We can show her to you guys. I feel like I'm eating this. Is this too close to me? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay. Just like occasionally just bumping it.
I know it's dinner time.
I know, I'm a little peckish,
I
but
hear you.
yeah. Yeah.
I hear
So the training that we do with the birds is positive conditioning. We can't tell a wild animal, no, you're being bad, and expect them to know what that means. So we use a lot of positive reinforcement. So you're going to see us feeding her a lot today.
Nice to see you.
And you can probably hear her making her
We're
sounds.
starving.
Hey, Penny.
Good job.
Yeah, she's doing great. So this is Penny, our American kestrel. And she's saying great choice with your bird, with the Selm Audubon, because kestrels are really amazing little birds. They're one of my favorites. Definitely, they have a huge personality and a small body. I've worked with a couple and they do have really distinct personalities. So Penny is with us because she can't kill anything, or well, she doesn't want to, I should probably say. The biggest thing she's ever killed is a cricket that just, slowly crawled by, and she went, oh great. She's tried to kill a few bugs. They are good at killing bugs in the wild. In the summertime, they will sometimes depend on catching flying insects. But they also do catch a lot of mice. Today, she's getting some quail, which is not normally what she would get in the wild, but she, gets a little special. Yeah, and some chicken chick also.
I know you are.
Yeah, we try to feed them what they get in the wild, but they eat a lot of songbirds in the wild, so we're not going to do that. But yeah, so she eats about a mouse and a half every single day. That's really all she needs. And Penny here weighs about 100 grams. So she is really, really tiny, very lightweight. And she eats approximately 25 to 30 grams every day. So that's a lot of her weight. That's, up to 30% of her weight every single day. If we did that, we couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. It'd be impossible. And sometimes it's really hard for her too. Like she'll get a very full mouth and her crop will be full and she's trying to eat more, trying to just really fit it in there. It's funny.
Quail wings.
Yeah, you might see some of that while we're feeding her. But yeah, so I think Alyssa, do you want to walk around with her a little bit? Oh, she did. Okay. All right. We're just making sure we were giving her some time to go to the bathroom up here before we walk her on the carpet. Trying to be polite. They are not potty trained. So,
tiny.
I know. So. She's also growing in her tail. So this is around the time of year where they're going to start molting. So you can see she's got these really beautiful middle tail feathers growing in. So falcons will, actually all birds, they will molt in a pattern where they can still fly. So they don't, they molt pretty evenly, but it's not all at the same time. So obviously they can stay flying and they're not stuck on the ground. The sound that she's doing right now is a begging sound. Yeah, she's doing a begging sound. This is not a normal sound for a kestrel to do to a person unless they're an imprint. So that's just one of the many things that she does. She also will cache her food and store it away if she's full, but she wants to save it for later. And she does it in front of us, which a wild bird would be not really comfortable with showing us where they're hiding their food.
She caches.
Yeah, she's not very good at it.
She sets them down.
Yeah, she's not the best at hiding things. Yeah, she also likes to fly to people's heads and sit on your head. That was a behavior we really had to work a lot with at first to train with her. So, and you notice she's got these really beautiful orange and black markings all over her body, these beautiful stripes all over her. That is a female kestrel has those stripes. The males are going to be more spotted and they have this beautiful blue color. So I really definitely encourage people to come up and look at all the biofacts on the table and see the differences between the sexes. It's really neat to see. So at this point, I think she's ready for us to do some flights.
Yes.
I think she's telling us she's ready. So I can pass this off to somebody. Oh, actually. So if we can be sure that that door doesn't open, we can actually just fly her without any leash is what I'd like to do. Is there any way to make sure like no one comes in and opens the door?
You guys, what, the door monitors back there, please?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's
Thank
not highly
you.
unlikely anyone would. but-
Okay, but just in case, yeah.
Hold on. She's like, I would like to go now.
She's gonna,
Excuse you.
turn her back so she doesn't prematurely come to you. This is gonna be really.
Don't bug. Can I have this? Don't step up.
She's very excited. Oh my goodness, yes. You ready? Yep, I'm ready. Good girl.
And what's her wingspan again?
Ready? Good question. I actually don't know what her, I haven't measured it.
So she's healthy.
Yes,
There's
so
nothing-
physically, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
her. She just, she doesn't know how to hunt and catch wild prey, yeah. But physically, she's actually perfect. She hasn't sustained any injuries. The person that did illegally raise her, at least they knew how to keep her healthy. So usually, unfortunately, usually that's not the case. Usually when someone takes a wild animal and they try to raise it, they'll feed it something really inappropriate, you know, and will sometimes get the animal later and they're really sick. But in her case, she was really healthy, which was great. We don't have to worry about anything. She's eating little bits. I think I have little bits of quail wing. And they're the kind of quail that you would eat at like a restaurant, like the how do you pronounce it? Some, yeah, she likes to cook them off. It's gonna come to you, Kathleen. Okay, good. Yes. This is our first time doing free flights in a room, so this is good. She's doing really well. I have a big piece of savings. Okay, is that all you have? or-
No, I have a bunch.
Okay, great.
She's done this around people before?
She has, but always on a line, so this is her first time just doing it like this, yeah. Ready? See, come on, Penny. Penny. Do it. Good, atta girl. That's a goodie.
You probably pair her up with another.
She is not like other birds.
She doesn't like.
She wants to attack,
Oh, my.
no matter how big they are.
Oh, wow.
She thinks she can attack our peregrine. She thinks yeah. But she doesn't care about any of the other birds until, you know, like they have food. She wants to steal the food from them. Like she will like do what's called baiting towards other birds when they have something that she wants.
Okay.
So she has no understanding of, that's the other reason why she should be released. She has no understanding of predators, really. She's not afraid of dogs. Like she has no fear of dogs. She doesn't like cats. I've had to take her home for things before and she didn't hate the cats, but okay, so one more flight my way.
So what is her size compared to say?
Good girl.
She's gonna take somebody out.
I know. So peregrines are a lot larger. We have one. So a peregrine would actually be sitting like about yay tall, and they're very dense. Our peregrine that we have weighs about, how much does she weigh? 2 pounds, roughly, or a little over
I know
that.
grams.
There we go. All right. Yay! Thank you. Thank you for being our guinea pigs, kind of, because that's the first time. That's really fun. I'm excited. She did really well. Do you want to take off with it? Yay!
How old is she?
Oh, that's a great question. She's 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, we got her at 3. She's now 9, and they can actually live into their early 20s is the oldest I've heard of them living, but in captivity. So in the wild, they only live about 1 to 5 years. Unfortunately, probably being closer to maybe the 1 year mark, just because they have a lot of predators and a lot of things that can try to attack them out in the wild. So that's not always the best thing. So
What's
Is she like
the-
insecure? Did they leave her for too long or just, what does she do?
yeah. So we work in an office which is separate from where the bird bungalow where the birds live. And so if we were to leave her in her enclosure, we'd be walking by all day. She yells. So yeah, so we just take her out in the morning. That's the first thing we do, take her out in the morning, put her in the office so she can actually be around people all
Oh,
day.
she stayed right in the phone.
Yeah, she's got her little section that she hangs out in, and she's got lots of toys and things to play with. They're definitely not a pet, they're a wild animal, but she does have toys, like dog toys, cat toys. Yeah, keeps her busy.
What does she do with those toys?
We'll either put food inside so she can, do some kind of foraging, or
She loves
she likes to tear things apart, like little stuffed animals, she likes to tear them apart. We give her a variety of things to play with. Sometimes with her toys, like wooden toys, she can shred. She really likes cat scratchers, the cardboard. Likes to scratch the cardboard. Yeah, really good enrichment for them to use their beaks and their talons. Good question. Yeah.
How many eggs do they typically lay?
So I think, anywhere from like 1 to 4.
1 to 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the source you read, sometimes it says 3 to 5, 1 to 4. But no more than that, so they don't lay a whole lot at once. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So we cut up some food for her to do training. Yeah. So she will pick the feathers off of the quail and things that we feed. But she'll also swallow some of that too. It's good for her to get like all the bones, the muscles, like all of the stuff. Yeah. She is, yes, because right. Yeah, so that is actually a common thing that we see with people that try to feed like a bird of prey. They'll go to the market and buy beef or something, which that's not a complete. Yeah, they need like an actual carcass. Yeah, you're right. So it does cause a lot of problems. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, we're fortunate. It's unfortunate that she was taken from the nest, but yeah.
What are her major predators that attack her?
Yeah, that's a great question. Since they're so small, there can be quite a few. If we're talking in terms of what we see or hear about, definitely Cooper's hawks will hunt these guys. Peregrine falcons, not so much. They're I don't know, they could, but they're not going to necessarily be in the same area. So I know like domestic house cats, we do get them coming in caught by cats sometimes, especially because kestrels will be attracted to people's yards if they have like a really big yard. If they live in an agricultural area, then they can be attacked by people's pets like dogs and cats. But yeah, natural predators, it would be like Cooper's hawks would pose a threat. If they're on the ground, they could be attacked by a lot of things, but also in the nest, they can be eaten by like raccoons, anything that can climb trees and get inside, snakes. And the nest is when they're really the most vulnerable.
I
They're
see.
so small. Yeah. Yes.
I recall that not too many years ago, the executives were concerned with the decline
Yes,
And
yes.
so are there numbers going up now? Is it normal?
No, the short answer, yeah, it's been a really steady decline. It's gonna take a while, yeah, I don't know. From what I've been reading, it's, some areas are doing
Hi
better.
there.
some
Like,
areas
what is
are
that
not.
pretty
Hello.
bird on the
My
screen?
goodness, isn't that
The,
cool?
There you go.
population
Oh, can we do it?
numbers,
Hello.
Go ahead, Pen.
um,
Hi there.
Yeah, yeah,
Go let me do it.
yeah, exactly. If you're
Focus.
losing
No,
a
she's
lot
not
of their nesting area for, so let's say-
There we go.
And then we're still seeing a lot of invasive, like the hatcheries and starlings competing for nesting areas as well. So they can mob up on pastorals.
Feather surface.
So
She
yeah,
just dropped another tail feather yesterday.
and you know, I don't know the latest as of last year. I'm not sure. But that is a good question. From what I've read, it's still about the same. So, yeah, good question, because I've been following that too.
Oh, that's what
Yeah,
that
and the
is.
peregrine
Those
fin
are
is doing
directly
really
in the
good.
middle, so when she's flying, she's got the really two long
Yes.
ones, so she's got like a weird swallow tail thing going on.
So she's pretty comfortable with people.
Not.
Yeah, so after we finished doing flights and I just started she was. So that's kind of showing like I'm comfortable enough.
Yeah,
to be
we're,
kind of in a
you know, the
unsafe
most
situation
renowned
where she
citations
can't
we've
take off
seen are
immediately.
probably
She's
breaking
browsing
owls
kind
and
of
other tails.
I've been
Really
working with her
good
for years, so she's like, I'm good, I feel nice and comfortable, I've been
You know,
fed.
eat a lot of
Do you interact with her every day?
A couple times a week.
I can't
Yeah,
recall
when I was
what time
interning, it was about 4 days a week. Yeah.
Side,
A little
but-
less now, but I've established a relationship.
Cool.
About it.
You see.
But definitely hitting happens all these days.
When you were bobbing her up and down,
Yeah.
she was keeping her head steady, is
Yeah,
that
do make
typical?
some really
Yeah,
nice,
so especially with birds of prey, birds have
decals
S-shaped
to put on
like
windows.
vertebrae in their neck.
They actually
And so when she's sitting,
um,
she's kind of sitting all scrunched,
There's
which is
80
comfortable for her.
birds, and then
So she was
there's
spotting something,
You
and
wanna
so
check
she'll
out
do it
their
again.
website,
Focus.
see what they
Penny.
have,
She's like, I'm not going
listed.
to.
They have lots of
Sometimes she'll focus on
options,
something.
patterns and things for.
So imagine if she's on a telephone pole or a telephone wire or a tree that's gonna be moving in the wind.
You know,
She has to be able to focus on her prey
it can
and
look
not
really
lose sight of it.
nice.
And so she'll hold her head in place. There we go. And stabilizes her eyes. Her neck will stretch out and then shrink back.
Yeah,
So that's what
actually
she's
the exact
doing.
same. This is her old.
I know, you just want food.
Yeah, yeah, and
There
she's
we go.
not.
I got a little bit.
Okay,
That's
yeah, I
another
can see
reason
how
why,
that would
you know,
help
she
on a
just doesn't
branch.
have that fear
So she's not
people,
the only one
so
who does
that's
that. A lot of birds will do that,
She
especially
flies
the
on
predators, yeah.
people.
But then when they do bob their head
She's
on a
nine.
steady perch, is,
Yeah.
I always assumed that was like lizards or.
That's focusing their
Working.
eyes. So because their eyes are
Yeah,
fixed
so
in
it looks
place,
like
ours
Lewisburg.
can move back and forth. She can't
And
adjust,
that's
like if she's looking at
Also.
prey, and be able to change like where she's looking, so she has to adjust her whole head to be able to.
Yes.
So it's not a depth perception then?
It's not really.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have it memorized, but
I
but
know,
Cornell
it's so
has really good dimensions, on their website.
There we go.
So
It
it
feels
just
like
like
with chickens, the S-shaped necks, you can kind of move them and their head will stay in place. I can move her back and forth and her head will stay in place, but it's if she's focused.
Anybody online have any questions?
Yeah.
That's a good, that will be the next thing. I'm
They've
just trying
got
to see
weight
how
every
well
ounce
they
for
can
them
hear.
is critical.
Yes.
So if they
Yeah,
can
I'll
do
ask.
without 60% of the muscles that we have, their eyes are fixed that way, but their head.
Oh, yeah,
Owl
sure,
has
yeah,
almost
I forgot about it.
He's got extra vertebrae.
Okay.
But he can't move his eyes, but he can move the whole head.
There's some
That
questions
means
back?
that all those muscles we have are eliminated.
Go ahead, yeah.
I could use the
The
mic.
molting cycle. Hey Kathleen, do you have the molting cycle information from Miss Penny?
I don't, offhand, I do not.
Well, I can give you a little bit of an idea of her specifically, because I've been around her for about a year. It's not normal. Her specifically, she has been molting a little bit. Recently, she dropped a couple of her wing feathers and tail feathers, as we talked about earlier. So because she's in captivity and she works with us, she's not necessarily following the same molting cycle as wild birds are. I know that didn't really specifically answer your question about kestrels, but that kind of answer what you're looking for with Penny.
I was just wondering. So they can't
So they'll drop them over a course of weeks and sometimes months. It won't be all at once. I know there's some species of birds. I know there's something specific. I can't remember off the top of my head where they will drop everything. Yeah, yeah. Ducks will completely just
Ducks will.
drop everything. She will not. Yeah.
Couple points on the molding. Birds like this have to be able to fly at high speed.
Yes.
Half the mold symmetrical.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
lose
they have.
feather number 4 on both wings at the same time. Otherwise, they can't fly. So
So
like a wood duck will lose all their
Right.
feathers at once. It's been 6 weeks unable to fly.
right.
These guys that need can't do more than an hour. So it's balance. And for these guys, breeding about 2 months before the height of courtship, they should molt in the spring. And then again in the fall, so they have tight feathers for the winter. And birds like dolphins, of course, lose all their color in the fall. They don't need the color anymore. They just need the water.
Yeah.
They're starting, if you've got them in your yard, you'll see them starting to get their spring colors. They're starting to get that pale yellow. But they look like mud all winter because it's all about water.
Yeah, that's a good point. The symmetry is really
The
important.
brightest color in the fall. But now that they're getting ready for courtship, well, another month or so in a while, you'll see the males with these beautiful silver blue wings. But that's when they want to impress the people. Now it's all about water.
Oh, okay, yeah, so, so for her symmetrical molt looks like she goes from the inside out. So it'll be the inside middle tail, because you can see these beautiful little, nice, they're more richly colored actually coming in. And you can see the outer feathers, the old ones, they're paler. So over time, the feathers will actually be damaged by ultraviolet light. Also just general wear and tear. Her running into her own poop, yeah. So she will just, they're hard on their feathers. So she will molt from the inside out on the tail, which I can't remember if that is something that all falcons do. I know that falcons molt in a specific pattern and hawks actually molt in a different pattern, depending, which is dependent on the types of the flights that they do, right? So a lot of falcons are pursuit hunters, so they have to molt in a symmetrical pattern where they're able to still dive and to be really aerodynamic, where hawks a lot of times they're soaring. So the bootios are going to be more soaring when they're flying. So they molt in a different pattern than falcons do.
There was also another question earlier that not everybody heard. It was asking about how do we know that she's comfortable? One, she's chirping at us quite a bit because she wants our food.
She was not.
Yeah, but also if you're looking at her,
Okay,
she kind of
more
looks
quiet.
like a little bit of a fluffy potato at the moment. Her feathers aren't laid down and all sleek. She's not on high alert. So if there was, let's say, a predator about or something that was kind of stressing her out, her feathers would be all ready in the position to just take off. But right now she's lifting her foot. She looks like she's about to start grooming herself. So she is A-okay.
She's trying to pick the rest of her food off.
She says she's still starving.
Yeah.
But also after we did flights and I re-dressed her up to the glove, she did rouse. And if you're familiar with rousing it's pretty much just fluffing up all your feathers and then relaying them back into the setup that they should be. And so that's a time when they can't just take off and fly if there is something coming after them. So she feels comfortable with me enough to say, okay, I can kind of relax for a second, readjust. And I know that Alyssa's got me covered. Nothing bad's going to happen. So that's kind of a nice way and reassuring for me to know that I'm doing my job correctly. So thank you.
Any other questions?
I know
Yeah.
that, kestrels are, they're cavity nesters, so, you
Yeah.
can put up nest boxes for them. Say a monogamous, you can order nest boxes for them.
You can also get them at the Wild Birds Luncheon store here in Salem.
Yes.
I work there, so yeah.
What is the likelihood of them nesting in like a man-made nest box?
Hi, they love them.
As long as you got the right setup for them.
Yeah, it's about location. Yeah, you can be really successful, especially if you're already seeing some close to your area. Yeah.
We did put one up, but we haven't been successful attracting one. We have
Okay.
5 acres and
Oh,
most of it's pasture. I mean,
Okay.
it used to be for the horses, so.
okay. Have you noticed any other birds around?
Not kestrels, red-tailed hawks,
Okay.
and there's probably one within a quarter of a mile of where we live, because I could see fire, but they're not at our place yet.
Okay, well, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for them to.
What would be your ideal location? for
Kestrels.
On a post about 12 feet off the ground,
Yeah,
Open, I mean.
open,
more
yeah.
open, yeah. Because when you see them hunting for prey, they're looking for open areas, and so having that near their hunting
I mean, I
areas.
knew they had to be.
And not being under a tree gives them something they don't have to fuss with.
Also, keep in mind sunlight. So morning sun is okay, because in the summertime, we do get some hot days. I have heard more recently that sometimes, you do end up with big eggs if it's going to be in the hot summer heat in the afternoon. So aim for more of the morning light.
Good tips. I don't have enough property, so I don't know. Plus, Melissa has more knowledge on that.
I work in a bird store.
You work at a bird store.
Was there any online that we missed?
No, nobody, no chats
No
online.
worries.
No, I have no questions online.
No notes. All right.
Go out, pick up birds that are hurt.
Do we go out?
Sometimes. So yeah, so most of the time, the animals that we get in are from the public. So they will call us, hopefully, and let us know that they're gonna come in, but we do have open hours for drop off. So if someone can't call us ahead of time, we have open hours where they can just come to, we have a kiosk where they can check in and alert our staff to come outside and help.
I was thinking more of an injured animal.
Yeah, a lot of times people will bring us injured, yeah. If they're comfortable, so
You'll go pick it up.
I was gonna say the vast majority of the intakes we get from the public are small songbirds, baby animals that aren't gonna be necessarily very dangerous to handle, but we do get calls about say like bald eagles or red tails where people are like, I'm not really comfortable handling that animal, which is completely fair. So we have staff go out and handle the cases where it would be too dangerous for people. I know there's a video circulating around of a woman helping, trying to help a wild red tail. Has anyone seen the video where the red tail attacks her and sinks their talons into her arm? And it was really, it was so painful to watch, just because, just someone who's been trained in how to handle wild animals. I was like, dang it, because there's so much that could have been done to avoid it. But I think how often does someone have to grab a hawk, right? They're not grabbable. They're not really close. So they're usually high away. So normally when they're on the ground, there's something very wrong with them. Sometimes you can take a towel and swaddle them, but you have to be really, really careful to not get grabbed by the talons. And this lady, unfortunately, was trying to do a good deed and she got grabbed. And then the authorities were really worried about the bird not letting go of her. And they were even talking about having to hurt or kill the bird for it to let go of her. And that's when I was like, darn, because what you do if that happens is you straighten out the bird's leg, because that helps to release the talons. So just in case that ever happens to anyone, straighten out the leg, and you shouldn't have to hurt the bird. But yeah, we also do a lot of, and I do want to mention, we do a lot of training with local law enforcement so that they know how to handle wild animals as well. So we got a grant from the Oregon Humane Society. They made kits actually for us to take to local precincts and do a whole talk about how to safely handle a hawk or safely handle an animal that could attack them potentially. They're upset, they're injured, they're wild animals. So having the local police educated on how to handle the animals is really important, because we do get a lot of calls and the police will have to go out and like get the animal sometimes. So just that is another thing that we do at the Wildlife Center, is educating the public. So yeah.
Can you describe anything about the difference between you guys and the Raptor Center in Eugene?
Yeah, really we're in a different location, of course. So they have open hours, which we don't have. So Cascades is really great. They have gosh, I think it's like about 50 birds of prey that you can visit, which is awesome. We have 11, so it's quite a bit less, but we rehab mammals, birds, amphibians, and reptiles, and they specialize in birds of prey. So there's oftentimes where we'll send them maybe baby animals that need to be fostered, because they do a really excellent job of that. They have a couple of barn owls that will take in the babies, and they'll foster baby owlets, which is really nice, so that the babies can actually get fed by adults and get acclimated to adult owls that can help them with their success rate for release. We rehab more species, but they rehab birds of prey. So yeah,
That's
but they're
interesting.
great. I
Yeah.
definitely encourage like visiting them, and yeah. And we do a lot of communication between each other as well, which is really nice. We talk to other rehabs in Oregon all the time. It's really nice to have a big supportive network of people, because there's not really that many of us. So it's a nice community. It's great. Yeah. Yes.
So, Alyssa, could you describe what a typical day would be like for you as a volunteer?
Oh, golly.
Typical day.
Typical
Yeah.
day. Kind of varies.
Do you mind if I hold it?
Sure. I started as an intern, actually last spring, and then I went into the volunteer position, and then did another internship, and now I'm a volunteer again. So I've kind of been going back and forth. So when I get there, I pretty much open the day. It's usually dark. There's no one there yet, and so I will go into the Raptor Education program, and we have a board. I'll check to make sure that there's nothing different going on, such as presentations. The bird is being fasted. If they're not being fed that day, then I'll hold off working with them or going and prepping a diet. Thank you for talking over me, Penny.
She's got to do it.
She's asked to. And then I'll start doing diet preps. And we do have some turkey vultures, and one of them does need medication before 11. So I make sure that he gets that first. And then from there, it's kind of just seeing what can I do. If there's specific stuff I know that we need to get done, whether it's specific training, I might work towards prepping diets for that first. If there's stuff I can get done on my own, sometimes it's prepping to do some training and other activities with Kathleen and Bree, are my other supervisor. So I'll go and I'll pull Penny out. I've been working with Kit, our peregrine falcon, and then also lots of cleaning, of course. So certain birds will go in and we'll have them stay in there, and I'll clean and respect their boundaries, and they'll respect mine. Diami, our bald eagle, really likes to have his space, and so I make sure that he can be wherever he likes, and I just work around him. And then with Penny and Bo, of course, it's going to be hunting for their pellets when you're cleaning hers. She's so small. They're itty bitty. They're like sometimes the size of my pinky nail. So that could take a little bit. But yeah, and Bo is our barn owl. He has one wing. But his are very dark, so they kind of blend in. So it's a lot of
cleaning.
adapting each day. Yeah. So like this last Monday.
And record keeping, a lot of record keeping and cleaning.
Yes, and dishes, of course.
Yeah.
So
You can never get away from dishes.
no, never get it. And wash
Or
your
laundry.
hands. Lots of washing your hands.
Internships in special areas.
Yes,
Mhm.
and yeah, so when I started my first internship, there were certain things I needed to progress in and meet certain goals. I also had an internship project. Part of it was I worked on creating a educational script for red-tailed hawks. It wasn't something that we follow word for word, but kind of the points that we want to get across when we do take our red-tailed hawk pip out once in a while. And then I also helped with creating a poster about birds of prey. And then this last internship, I actually got to do some training with a specific bird. So I did a little bit more involvement in working with Ruth, one of our great horned owls, and doing crate training. So I helped to kind of adapt her with going into her crate, rewarding her with her food. And then we've slowly been able to kind of move her into what we have is a flight cage, doing some flights, and then also moving her to the yurt, because she's not a bird that really likes to sit on the glove. So our goal is to be able to get her to and from places in her crate, and then come up onto a perch, and then pretty much follow whoever's working with her back and forth on that perch.
She won't ever go back in the wild.
No, so she has some drooping wings. She was a chick when she fell out of her nest, so she was a little itty bitty baby. And there was just also some mental stuff with that. So physically and mentally, she just wasn't fit to be able to be released. But she is still doing wonderfully, and she loves Kathleen to death. Loves, as in if we know if birds love, but she does get very excited
Oh, she's
and noisy.
she's our COVID baby though. We had to raise her during COVID, and so our great horned owl got a lot of attention, but it was mostly for me. So it's not the ideal. The ideal thing is usually we want to introduce them to a bunch of people at once to get them accustomed to everybody. So we're doing the exact opposite of what you would do in rehab, which is why I was really excited, because I always got yelled at being talkative in rehab. So but yeah, so it's education department is really great if you love animals, but you might not want to get involved in the rehab. And I will say before we leave, there's lots of volunteer opportunities on our website. We have them all listed. So if you are really good at administrative stuff, like, putting in numbers in the computer, which, we need that though. Stuff like that is actually really great. Or like landscaping, horticulture, we're looking for some horticulture volunteers as well. We are really sprucing up the property for the springtime. So so I encourage everyone to check out our website if you're interested. And thank you.
Do you do school?
Absolutely, we do a lot of school programs, yes. We actually have a program called Owls with the Corvallis School District where we visit the second grade classrooms. And yes, it is a lot, yes. And it's actually gone beyond Corvallis into other areas of Benton County as well. So we're really thankful to have funding from the Benton County Coalition, So
And actually just tours through your facility?
yes. So tours are by appointment through our website. Yeah.
I love the orange.
Yes. Any other questions? I think everyone's been so great. And we're gonna show some stuff around the room here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm just gonna put it out on tables here for the artwork. We used to have door prizes. Somebody got these and the meeting stopped and they ended up in my closet. So these are pieces of art that anybody can take.
Stephanie, there's also some books over here that are for the taking, some nice books. So help yourself to them. We also have some cookies. I don't want to take these home. So please help yourself to the cookies. And happy Valentine's Day. And we could stick around for sharing if you guys are up to that. I suppose we'll take maybe a 5-minute break and then we'll convene for sharing. We haven't done that for a while, so maybe tonight we'll start back up with that tradition.
It could be. What's up? Okay.
And the person who collected from me said I would be contacted and it's worked out.
Oh, okay.
This camera works. It's harder
Tell me.
and maybe we can start doing this regularly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So like she was the
Gretchen said everybody, she could hear the talk, she couldn't hear the questions so much.
Oh, okay, that's.
So we couldn't repeat
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
But
You
she
know,
said.
well,
she
as
could
far
hear
as I knew,
what
our
being
new protocol was
And the presenter said, "Oh, it'll be interesting to
we
hear how
actually
that came
can't
through on
update
the
everybody.
recording."
That was what I was
To
saying.
the, you know, for any other time you have anything similar.
I know, right? Well, so
Especially
that's
interaction
a bummer is we used to
Stuff
be
like that.
able to update everybody. Honestly,
Yeah,
it takes
that's
hours and
well.
hours. Yeah.
Wow, what a
Yes.
dramatic difference. Wow.
This one was just prepped bent, so it looks a little different, but
Okay.
it's really the colors.
This is just
Same size bird.
Yeah, very similar. Sometimes we end up with like a smaller individual, and that's what this thing could have been, but they're roughly the same size. They're so small.
Someone said your bird.
Wow.
Yes.
This is good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I'll get this.
Oh, thank you.
This-
Okay.